This is the Griffin Podcast, episode number 94. We're in our agent plan, and the question on the table today for those agents out there, do you have a vision for a real estate business that works? Are you a home seller or a home buyer who has questions about selling or buying residential property? Or maybe you're an agent or an aspiring agent who needs a plan, but you can't seem to find an easy way to get your answers? Well, then, hey, you're definitely in the right place. I'm Danny Griffin, the founder of The Griffin and the host of the Ask-A-Griffin podcast. And to help you take immediate action to get started in the right direction, if you're a seller, buyer, or agent, you can take advantage of our free step-by-step guides that are waiting for you at griffincourses.com. In this episode, we're in our agent plan, and the question is, do you have a vision for a real estate agent business that works? So the first point here is any business, let alone the real estate agent business, any of them, require a plan that articulates, I'll add, a simple vision. In his great book, sitting somewhere on the shelf behind me, is Michael Gerber's book, The E-Myth. And he poses that question to all small businesses. How does the business really work? So whether it's a business you're trying to get into like real estate or you're already in it, you have to take some time to step back and get above it and observe it as a student and say, well, how does it really work? Not the way somebody opines on how it works. In other words, everybody has an opinion. You know what they say about opinions, right? I'll leave that crude joke aside. You probably know it. But the point is, they're useless against the truth. See, I've always tried to explore, how does something work? I mean, I'm very cautious of being perceived as a guru or following a guru because oftentimes gurus are lazy. They don't keep doing homework to always define, how does this business really work? Because obviously that's always changing to a certain extent. I'm a believer that there are big chunky things that are immutable laws, and that's the way the business works and has worked for a long time. But what affects it, or all those modules, are a lot of variables, especially digital. What's happened in this business since 1994-95, when it really got digitized or the product got digitized on the internet, everything has changed. And now, how do you make sense of social media and all that? So sure, there are variables, but what I'm talking about is a simple vision. And what I created, and you can get this, like I said, at griffincourses.com, you can get our agent plan. I take the vision and really just challenge a couple simple things. I mean, for example, the first two beats in our agent plan, it talks about, hey, this isn't a job. This is actually a business. So you might be listening to this podcast for the first time, or you might be a new agent who's aspiring to become a Griffin agent, whatever it might be. So the idea is, I'm telling you, this is a business. So don't go quit your day job, because it's not a job. You don't leave a job that pays you an hourly wage and benefits, and that matters to you for your survival. You open up a business opportunity by becoming a real estate agent. I think the worst piece of advice that brokerages are giving people is, oh, you have to quit your day job because you have to go all in. All in on what? Give me an executable plan and give me a chance, maybe, but that's insane. And you have to challenge that brokerage to say, okay, if you want me to take that risk, show me the plan you want me to execute that gives me some level of certainty that when I go to zero on my income, that I can make it here. And quite frankly, folks, the reality is that's not the truth, because the average agent only sells 3 properties a year. And once you go through the expenses of being part of the brokerage and paying some expenses, it's a super awesome part-time job. But it's not a full-time job yet until you put time in and you build it and you build more of your systems fuller, so that then maybe if you want to quit the other thing that you do to bring in income, you can, because you've built something. So that's the beginning of the articulation of a plan. You see what I mean? Any business requires a plan that articulates that vision. Okay. Next point. Sphere of influence is something that, it's a terminology that's been thrown around in my face for years. I remember hearing it. And when I first got into this business, I chose a brokerage that left me alone. I was just one of those freak entrepreneurs. I struggled to be told what to do. I'd rather go get educated and then say, okay, you have something figured out. I'm all ears. Tell me, because I don't know what I don't know. But when somebody starts to dictate to me a vision without a plan, I turn them into a suspect. So I had a tough time. So I went to a place where they left me alone. And they asked me what was my business plan. And I said, yikes, that's a good question. You don't have one? No, we don't have one. Okay, then I better set out and go looking. And back then, there was no easy access to the internet, right? If you weren't part of some huge company, you didn't really even have access to the internet. So you did, but not the way you do today. You couldn't do research. Like I can do research on my phone in a nanosecond. So can you. So I had to go to Barnes & Noble and the library and spend an enormous amount of time looking for books about a vision for this business. Now, there were an enormity of people teaching how to flip houses, but there were really no books on a real estate agent plan. So you go back to these brokerages and you start to study them, and they'll say, well, your sphere of influence. You got to work your sphere of influence. Okay, well, here's what I'm going to tell you about sphere of influence. You only know so many people when you start. They're not all looking to buy or sell a property right then and there. They don't all know somebody who's looking to buy or sell a property right there. So now what? What are you going to become? The unwanted pest every 5 minutes? Well, did you find anybody this week? It's desperate. It's desperate. So knowing a lot of people even is not a plan. You have to learn how to do business with people that you don't know. And that's part of this vision of a business that works. Building a business that is built more so on you being able to find anybody that you don't know, including that you do know, and educating them on the selling process, the buying process, prospecting them into your world, following up and continue to educate them until they're so grateful that they become your client. So sphere of influence, or knowing a lot of people, it's a good asset for the business, but certainly not a plan. The last point here is forming a very basic plan is better than going forward on muscle. I wish I had slowed down. I mean, I have so much energy all the time. I'm slowing down a little bit now in my mid-50s. So, but the point is, where I was back then, I was just going so fast. I couldn't wait to get the next transaction. And I was very competitive, and I would look up at the scoreboard and how many people had done more deals than me at the brokerage that month. Well, that's going forward on muscle. And it's not sustainable. It was in direct proportion to my energy every week to go out there and hustle. I love the hustle. I love all the messages out there about hustle, but hustle without a plan is a disaster because it's in direct proportion to your energy. And we all know our energy flows up and down. And then when we're really hard on ourselves, we beat ourselves up and we stop. So that's not good. So the point here today is a very simple one. You need a vision for a business that works, and you need a plan for that vision. So let me go back and summarize this, right? So the question on the table for all you agents in our Griffin Agent Plan is, do you have a vision for a real estate business that works? Meaning that always works, not on just some whim. The second point is sphere of influence. Knowing a lot of people is not a plan. It's an asset within a plan, sure, if you know what to do with it. 3, forming a very basic plan is better than going forward on your muscle and energy. Let me summarize it this way. Too many agents decide to enter the real estate business without a vision for how they will build their business. They assume that by knowing enough people and talking to them about buying or selling real estate, they'll somehow build a sustainable business, and they won't. The key is to start off with a simple, strategic, very powerful word, wish I knew it back then, a simple strategic plan based on how the business, real estate agency, already works, and customize it for your vision, meaning what geography, what price range, first-time home buyers, move-up, etc. Okay? All right, remember, you can take immediate action to get started in the right direction if you're a seller, a buyer, or an agent. Those are the 3 people we love and care about at the Griffin. And we can do that. We can help you if you just head over to get one of our free step-by-step guides that are waiting at griffincourses.com. We have video courses right there that you can have instant access to. Head over, griffincourses.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen. We also post all our content on YouTube, so don't forget to subscribe to the Griffin channel. The Griffin channel. You can find it on YouTube. We post all this stuff over there too. We'd also appreciate it if you would share our content with some home sellers and buyers and agents so that they can get the help they need if their timing is now. Remember this, we sign off all podcasts the same way. Nobody's coming for you. Nobody's coming for you. That means nobody's coming to help you. So go get to work on a plan for buying, selling, or becoming a successful real estate agent, work on a plan. And we'll see you in the next episode to help you do just that. Hey, thanks for listening.